Welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. We are January 13th. It's been, we've only been in this year two weeks and it's already been chaos. Chaos.
Chaos at the Capitol.
Chaos at the Capitol, chaos in Sports League, just chaos everywhere. Chaos in Lynn Sports. I mean, we got...
Do we have Lynn Sports?
No, but, some other stuff happening. ADs transferring their kids out of school to send them somewhere else to play sports. And
ADs are doing that?
Apparently the one at Lynn Classical did that. To transfer this kid out of Classical and sent him to a different school to play hockey, allegedly. Apparently. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly.
I'll be honest though, this is the only year where you get to slide for that, because it's I get it, you're supposed to be in compliance with the city, but if the people in the schools don't even agree with the mayor, who don't even care about these kids, I guess you gotta do what's best for you and your own. But it is a contrast of interest, but you gotta do what's best for you and your own, brother.
It's also a contrast of interest because some of these ADs be denying kids transfers and waivers and stuff when they do that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But that's also the MIA too. You know what I mean? They're all in cahoots. But I want to say the cover is being pulled over the clown show, which has been going on in the U.S. for some time now. So hopefully it's all gonna be.
Speaking of clown shows, the Philadelphia Eagles, after the clown show they pulled at the end of the season, they are on Monday. Monday they fired Doug Peterson. I've been critical of Doug Peterson all year because I just felt like the quarterback was getting so much blame, even though he deserved the majority of the blame, but the quarterback was getting the blame. And somehow the head coach seemed to just, seemed to forget that this dude was over there acting like he still had healthy people on the roster that he could call certain plays and call certain games. He was calling games like the year they won the Super Bowl. He was calling plays like that, which it just was not happening because you got a quarterback who's just not having the best year of his, the worst year of his professional or probably his playing career. You got an offensive line that's messed up. You got receivers that can't stay on the field. You got running backs that can't stay on the field. And I said somebody was gonna have to go, and I thought it was gonna be a quarterback, but geez, I didn't see it. Well, I kind of saw. Look, I thought it wasn't gonna happen, but it happened.
I'm glad head coaches are starting to be removed because the players can only do so much. They're told to do so much. So you know what I mean. If you give them directions and they can't, I want to say put forth I lost my train of thought. Some noise messed me up. But I'm just happy that coaches are also being held to the same standard that quarterbacks are being held to, because he was coaching like he had the Super Bowl, I want to say, leeway.
The Super Bowl.
And he talks like he's you just tell he's a good guy. Yeah. But being a good guy doesn't get you W's. And
sometimes you got to look at yourself and look at your roster I can't coach the way I would want to coach because the playmakers aren't available. There's no playmakers, and everything's just
now. As the QB, I heard he's ready to leave Philadelphia instead of competing for the job. What would you do?
Well, he's under contract, so if he's gonna stay, because if he leaves, it's gonna be a 51. I think somewhere around 51 million hit to their cap. So they pretty much can't let him go. They have to keep him for another year. They have to keep him for this year, and maybe next year they could let go. Him and the head coach weren't getting along. The backup and the head coach he severed that tie with what he pulled. So whoever comes in, it's gonna be the job is gonna be Carson Wentz, but he's gonna be in the background.
I'll be honest though,
because of that contract.
And it's when he was saying he doesn't want to compete for the starting job. He just wants to get removed. You know what I mean? Traded. It's bro, you sucked for years, bro. Let's be real. Let's be real.
No, he only sucked this year.
Bro.
Last year he was better. He was not this bad.
Yo, if you can't stay on the field, that's part of you being trash as well. Yeah. So that being said, my man, that's just what it is sometimes, man. He's injury prone beyond belief, and now he had a trash year. You need to prove yourself with Philadelphia, because Foles did. Hey, he got a ring, bro. You can't say nothing. He got him that hardware.
Foles is the luckiest quarterback in the
NFL. That's all part of winning the championship, though. Brady don't catch that. Brady catches that, they lose. So part of luck is winning. You know what I mean? It's all part of winning championship, brother.
And now Foles is
and all that money they gave that man. So
but you can't just let him go. Well, even if they wanted to, they couldn't because it's like the cap hit is going to be crazy. So he'll probably be back for another year, and then probably the year after they'll take the hit from the cap because they won't be as crazy as it would be next year. But yeah, that team, they got a lot of things to do, and that's good luck to whoever's coming into that situation. Because also Peterson left because he said he was tired of people telling him what to do and stuff. But
that's your cop out, or why you left? You're tired of people telling you what to do. So what other franchise you gonna work at when people don't tell you what to do? You sound like a fool, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. So the last game of the playoffs was Sunday night, and you could not tell which team. Well, you could not tell if the Browns were the ones that didn't practice all week, or if the Steelers. Because the start of this game, after they went up 21-0, I stopped watching.
Yeah.
Because they can't. Their first 6 possessions, they had 3 turnovers, and a 3 and out, and they just came like a team that wasn't ready to play.
You talking Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
You know what, I'll be honest, my picks were crazy this week. The only 2 teams I really believed in, they actually won, which is the Browns. Remember I said last week, for them to sit Ben, he needed to get reps. He needed reps. Just because he's an older gentleman, he just needs to keep the machine well oiled. And granted, you thought there's a chance of him getting injured. You should have took that chance because you see how they came out and performed. They didn't. And Cleveland having that momentum, winning at home, no. They won at home, so you got that crazy momentum, and they probably felt like, you know what, let's go to Pittsburgh and prove everybody wrong, which they ended up doing. And what's Tomlin doing though? I love Tomlin, but you got Roethlisberger throwing the ball 68 times, bro. What is that?
That was an issue all season. They just could not run the ball. But let me tell you,
what is that?
This is how the game started for Pittsburgh. Fumble for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Next possession, interception. Cleveland gets the ball, touchdown. Punt, Cleveland gets the ball, touchdown. Interception, Cleveland gets the ball, touchdown. Punt by both teams, another interception. Punt by Cleveland, touchdown Cleveland. All right, you pretty much gave them 28 points. You're in the can 28 points. I don't care how talented you are. There's no coming back from 28 points unless the team has a complete meltdown.
Yeah, like Atlanta. Yeah. And Cleveland, well balanced, bro. They rushed the ball 31 times for 127, 4.1 yards a carry, and they passed the ball 34 times for 263, 7.7. That was a great, well-balanced offense. And
the Steelers played right into that because once they got that lead, then, when you get a big lead like that, and now it's time to hit them with the runs and hit them with the play action. And they were just, the Steelers looked like an unprepared team that didn't know the playoff actually
because there's no excuse in a playoff game where you only run the ball 16 times, bro. I get it, you're trying to come back and all that, but part of the run game helps you set up certain pass plays and certain things for the long ball and stuff like that. So
there's no excuse for you to start the game off with a over the head snap to your quarterback and not the quarterback or the running back jump on the ball. The same thing people killed Cam Newton for in that Super Bowl. They still kill him for that. These 2 dudes, there was 2 of them just looking at the ball. Are you gonna jump on it? Am I gonna jump on it? Are you? Am I? And then a whole wave of Browns defenders just said, "Okay, we'll take this free touchdown."
Hey, Cleveland.
So that's their first playoff win since 1994.
Dope.
I was 7 years old.
1994. I can't even think right now. I was probably a little older.
They still had the big cell phones. those cell phones that look like shoes.
Mom had the car phone. She had the joint that hooked up in the lighter.
I think Microsoft was just in the beginning phases probably or something like. Oh man, 94. All right. Speaking of a team that found their groove, these 2 teams hate each other, and you could tell it was bad blood between these 2 teams, the Ravens and Titans. And there's a history between the Ravens and Titans going back to Eddie George and Ray Lewis there, and that came in this game. So the Ravens started off slow, They were down 10-0, and then their defense only allowed 3 points after allowing 10 points the rest of the way, and they completely shut down Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson in that running game put the team on their backs because like from the second quarter on, they were just doing whatever they want, and they just stuck to it, and they wore the Titans out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my only issue with Ravens last week was what Ravens team was going to show up, what offense were they going to put on the field, and they put on the same offense they put out last week. Mm-hmm. So, well-balanced offense. Like I said, Lamar throwing the ball 24 times, and them rushing the ball as a team 35.
236.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? And you're getting 6.7 yards per rush, so there's no reason why you shouldn't, I want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Rely on the workhorses. Which are your running backs? Yeah,
you see J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. They both getting 4 yards per carry. That's just it's demoralizing as the game continues because usually the Titans that's what they do with Derrick Henry. They just keep sending him to you, and Henry's a big dude. By the time the fourth quarter hits, you're gonna get tired trying to tackle him. But they only allowed 2.2 yards per carry for him, and they were meeting him in the hole. That's one thing people said. If you want to stop Derrick Henry, meet him in the hole. Like, yeah, he's big, but if you meet him in the hole, you'll get some licks on him.
And the Ravens defense too, man, keeping them guys to 4 for 12 on third downs, not allowing them to continue any drives, man. They just played great great football, man.
And then the interception, which you literally texted.
Oh my God, I forgot all about that.
you called me about that one. Like the guy fell. Then these guys they go and stomp on the logo, and it was just petty. These two teams don't like each other. They were the epitome of keeping that same energy because they certainly kept it. Once the game was over, like, few people shook hands, but they were just like, "Well, out of here."
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that receiver falling. I ain't seen any memes, anything. You guys like giving this guy sympathy? Like, y'all better stop memeing him. I'm sorry, man. I was sick when I seen that. You just didn't even give him a chance. He just fell. Like he got shot in the calf or something.
That was hilarious.
Oh my God.
That was hilarious. All right, the Buffalo. This was another entertaining game. The Colts and the Bills, and the Colts are going to kick themselves in the foot for all the missed opportunities they had. They dominated this game. They had control of the majority of this game, but their issues is they couldn't execute in the red zone.
I was just about to say, when you go, hey, Buffalo went 100% in the red zone, you go 2 for 5, and then you go scoreless in the third, you wasn't even helping yourself out. In playoff football, you cannot go scoreless in quarters. You gotta kick some field goals. You gotta get some points on the board.
Because this was still a game. This was still a close game. Granted, they got down 24-10, but they made a run at it, and they had a chance at the end. But yeah, that red zone, man. And they went for it on 4th and goal at one point when they could have just taken they should have just taken the 3. I mean, you end up losing by 3, so you
gotta take the points sometimes.
Those points and the play call they had on that third down. Like Phillip Rivers kept backing up. You're like at the 2-yard line. He ended up at the 15-yard line trying to throw a pass. Granted, the receiver almost made the catch, but it's one of those you should have taken the points at that because you were still up. There was no need to chase anything. You were up. You would have been up 6 points by then, and I think it was only the second quarter. I think the Bills railed off 17 straight points after that.
And in playoff football, you can't be playing with you can play with the downs. You can't play with the points.
Yeah,
you got an opportunity to get them points. You have to get them. Mm-hmm. And Allen and Diggs looking crazy out there.
Yeah,
Diggs, that's like a nice dynamic duo. Diggs had 6 receptions for 128, 1 TD.
Yeah,
they rolling.
That's what happens when you put a number 1 receiver with a quarterback who's had accuracy issues. He's looked a lot more accurate now that he's gotten Stephon Diggs because so many other guys are getting open because he demands so much attention. But for the Colts, they got something to answer in the offseason because they got the running backs, they got the receivers. It's just quarterbacks now because Phillip Rivers, he's had his run. It's over. You need to go young. I don't know if they're gonna put in Jacoby. I don't know. Jacoby Brissett, I don't know if they'll put him in for the starting. He's not bad.
He was on the road of being a decent quarterback till he got injured.
Yeah.
And they brought Rivers in. So, you should work on him. You know what I mean?
But there are some quarterbacks coming up in free agencies that they might be able to snag. So, we'll see about that. And, all right, so let's move on to the NFC side. I was skeptical. I said I should have taken my head wants me to take Washington, but I can't because of quarterback issues.
I didn't write notes about that game.
Yeah, I could because of quarterback issues. It was a pretty good game, but once again, Washington, and you gotta They had the defense, but they didn't have the quarterback. Granted, this guy played well, but he, you going up against Brady, who got a lot of experience. You have to be damn near perfect, and they had an interception. They had just a bunch of little mistakes that a young football team makes in their first postseason, but they did show some signs that if they do get a quarterback, they have everything else. If they get a quarterback, we could talk about these guys as being a Super Bowl contender next year.
They definitely competed. You know what I mean? They played. I mean, I'll be honest. I know they weren't going to win. I picked them to win anyway just because, hopefully upset. But they played the way I thought they were going to play. They made it a game.
Yeah.
A lot of analysts were saying they can't score enough. Baker barely scored either in that game. Like, what they only had, 21?
31.
31? Yeah. All right, so it's like one of them things. It's like the Buccaneers are good, but I don't think they're as good as everybody is trying to make them seem. You know what I mean? Because they play down to the competition as well.
Yeah, but they've been playing a lot better the last, the end of the season, December on. They've been playing a lot better, and they needed that momentum. They didn't turn the ball over, which has been an issue for them a little bit this year. They didn't turn it over, so they played well. And Leonard Fournette was actually running the ball like he knew how to run, like he knew he was a running back, and he used to tiptoe and indecisive. So they're gonna need that moving forward, especially going into New Orleans. But yeah, Washington, they got if they find a quarterback, watch it, because they got the defense. They got the defense, and they have weapons on offense that could make them an intriguing team next season. All right, this upset happened in Seattle.
It's upset?
It wasn't really an upset. I saw it coming because of the Rams. The Rams, historically, their defense is historically great. If nobody's paying attention, the Rams are having a historically great defense, and the Seahawks issues came back to bite them. Not protecting Russell Wilson, not being able to stop the run, just too much inconsistency from them.
Remember, you gotta complete third downs. You gotta value the football and penalties, man. For one, they were not disciplined. 9 penalties for 60 yards. You're just giving these guys great field position. Then you got 2 turnovers, 1 fumble, 1 in tow. And like you said, he was sacked 5 times. So that's a formula for destruction.
Definitely.
And they got destroyed.
Definitely. And the Rams, they started off with John Walford as their quarterback because I didn't know. I forgot that Jared Goff had thumb surgery. So he was the emergency quarterback. And what do you know? He had to come in because it was a dirty hit by Jamal
I didn't
Adams.
Even see it.
Oh yeah, he hit him right in the head, and I'm sitting here like that should be an ejection. I'm trying to figure out why that wasn't an ejection because he launched and hit him in the head. And quarterbacks is supposed to be protected. So I'm like I just saw a guy get tossed out of the game for punching somebody. This guy speared somebody in the head. All right, player safety, hello here, and they kept Jamal Adams in the game. But Goff came in, played well. They're saying like it was hard for him to throw because of thumb surgery, but he did enough. He didn't cost them anything.
He didn't turn the ball over.
And Cam Akers, 28 rushes, 131 yards, so 43 rush attempts for this team. So if the Rams could do that, I'm telling you, these dudes this defense is historically great. And it's going to be, the next matchup is going to be interesting.
I mean, they know what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
They just got to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think they've lost many people from that Super Bowl team.
No, I don't think
probably
so
like a few people they lost.
They got the front four still, right?
I believe so. Just a few different pieces.
Yeah, so different
pieces.
They know how to get there.
They still have the best defensive player probably in football, Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
He got hurt a little bit too. So, yeah, the Seahawks, it's their first loss at home in the playoffs under Pete Carroll, which was pretty interesting to me. But yeah, they need to fix up that offensive line. They need to fix this. They need to find guys or draft guys that can protect their quarterback because they're good at run blocking, but they're just not good at pass blocking. So you got a quarterback you gave all that money to, you got to protect him. So the Rams move on and they'll take on the Packers. We'll talk about the divisional round shortly. The Saints, we'll talk about this briefly. Saints and Bears, I mean, this was like a scrimmage for the Saints.
Yeah,
granted, the Bears could have made it interesting if people would catch wide open passes. Like that guy, he just dropped a touchdown pass early in the game that would have gave them confidence and gave them the lead. But I think that was as close as they got to a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, man, Chicago didn't have a chance, bro. You go 1 in 10 third downs, bro. You can't even get down the field.
Oh, yeah.
Barely score.
Remember, I told you I forgot they were even in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then you like Trubisky's your quarterback, but you can't even run the ball. So it's like, what are you even doing? You can't run, you can't pass. Like it was ugly out there.
Very ugly. So there's a lot of questions for the Bears in the offseason, but the Saints, I mean, a little concerned because Drew Brees, we always say later on in the season he don't have that same zip on that ball. There's a lot of throws that he was making that was short behind people, not hitting them in strides. This happened. This has been happening the past 3 years. We've seen this happen with them. So, granted for them, they get a team that they've dominated twice that they play in the season. So we'll see that. But you can't. You just can't do some of these throws that Drew Brees was making that were inaccurate. You need to fix that because if you don't, that's and same old Saints.
And it's hard to beat a team 3 times. You know what I mean? But there's no reason why he should be throwing the ball not 39 times. Like it is. That's not really a lot, but it's a lot for him.
Yeah, for a guy his age.
And Kamara just had 6 touchdowns a couple weeks ago. You might want to get him the ball 30 times.
And the dude's coming back from some messed up ribs too. So
right, y'all gotta realize that. And they just see Drew Brees, $1 million man. They don't take anything else into consideration.
Yeah, that's Sean Payton for you. I told you, his coaching style could win them games and also cost them games too. Because sometimes he's too confident in his play calling and it gets the best of him.
My only issue with him, he got slimed in them 11s. You know me, I took my shoes off. You know me, and 11s are my joint. So yeah, definitely not sliding my Concord. He tripping.
Oh my gosh, man, let's go to Craig. Craig got his picks for the divisional round.
Craig.
What up, everybody, and welcome to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. As always, it's your boy Craig, here to give you my playoff picks of the week. Let's jump right into it. The Rams are playing the Packers on Saturday, and I think this comes as no surprise. I'm going to go with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is playing like a true MVP, and the Rams are somewhat suspect. They beat a unprepared Seattle team, and I don't believe the Packers will struggle as bad as the Rams did. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are a immaculate pair. It's going to be awesome, and it's going to be a good game, though. Ravens and the Bills, I got this as the game of the week. It's going to be a really tough matchup. You got 2 excellent running quarterbacks, but one is just a notch above the other. Josh Allen is a monster. This kid has so much potential, and he is playing up to it right now. And I don't think the Ravens have what it takes to beat him. And I think it's going to be an awesome game. But I think that Josh Allen drives his team to victory. Browns versus the Chiefs. Now, a lot of people watched that Browns-Steelers game and got really excited about the Browns. And I did too. I mean, they scored 5 touchdowns in the first half alone. It was a brutal game for the Steelers. But the Steelers are pretty whack. Their defense was supposed to be, this, powerhouse, and they didn't show up. Couldn't get at Baker Mayfield. Couldn't stop any passes. It was terrible. That's not going to happen here with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen. He has some of the greatest weapons in the NFL, best tight end, fastest wide receiver, fairly good run game, excellent offensive line, and a strong defense. The Browns have met their match, and it is going to end. Congratulations for the Browns. They not only made it to the playoffs for the first time in something like 16 years, but they also won a playoff game. Baker Mayfield looked great. The whole team as a collective looked great, but it ends here. And then finally, Bucks versus Saints. This is an interesting matchup. The Saints have beat the Bucks twice this year. Now they face them for a third time. And is Tom Brady ready? Can Tom Brady handle the pressure? And in my eyes, I believe the answer to that question is yes. I think that the Saints are not at 100%. And I think that the Bucks are playing great football. And, that they want a close game against Washington, but I believe Washington's defense is a lot better than even people think it is, and I think that they played well against them, so I think that the Bucs will beat the Saints. All right, now let's talk about Doug Peterson, former coach of the Eagles, losing his job. Some will say that it has a lot to do with the fact that he benched Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter. I believe it's because of a lack of structure on that team. They've had terrible offensive line. They've had been riddled with injury at the wide receiver position, mismanagement of their quarterback, Carson Wentz. So I see him moving on. A lot of talk about him going to the Jets. I don't think that's a terrible idea. The Jets need a coach of the future, and that might not be Doug Peterson right now, but Doug Peterson could do some rearranging on that team. Maybe boost them up a little bit. Adam Gase is definitely not the guy. The Eagles definitely need a better quality coach, so we'll see what happens with that. But Doug Peterson gone. I think it's about time. I think it's time he moves on. I think it's time they move on. And then there's a little news flying around Deshaun Watson and Tua Tagovailoa. Deshaun Watson saying he would like to be traded to Miami. Very weird pick. I would like to see him come to the Patriots. Who wouldn't want Deshaun Watson on their team? Is this a trade that I think is possible? Yes. Is it a trade I think is going to happen? I think Miami would love to make that trade. They like trading with Houston, and I think this is a great move for them, but I don't think it will happen. We'll see what goes on in the future. And until then, I'll see you next week on No Huddle. Back to After the Whistle.
All right, and we're back. Thank you, Craig, for that. All right, New England Sports Update with Mia Lynn.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. I'm Mia Lynn, and today I'll be breaking down the latest in the sports world over the last week. To start off, in men's NCAA college basketball news, the Huskies of Northeastern defeated the Hofstra Pride this past Saturday in a final score of 67-56. The team was led by Tyson Walker and Queer Nemanga, who had 23 and 14 points respectively. Walker also chipped in with 5 assists and 3 rebounds. Other players making solid contributions were Jason Strong with 11 points and 5 boards, and Jameel Telfort, who notched 7 points and 9 rebounds. With that win, the Huskies now sit with a record of 6-5 as they prepare to take on the College of Charleston Cougars this Saturday at 1 p.m. In other NCAA men's basketball news, the Boston College Eagles defeated the Hurricanes of Miami Tuesday night. Final score was 84-62. The Eagles were hot from the field, shooting nearly 48% from field goal range, 51% from three-point range, and knocking down 18 three-pointers. Leading the way for the team were Rich Kelly and Jay Heath, who combined for 52 points and 8 assists. Other players with strong performances included C.J. Felder with nearly a double-double of 10 points and 8 boards, and Stephon Mitchell, who notched 12 points and pulled down 7 rebounds. The Eagles now hold a record of 3-9 as they get ready to face the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this Saturday at 4 p.m. Next up in Boston Celtics news, the team's third game in a row has officially been postponed. The Celtics were previously scheduled to face the Orlando Magic Wednesday night, but because the Celtics are unable to have a minimum of 8 players needed to play due to many of them entering the NBA's health and safety protocols, they had to postpone the game. Additionally, the status of their game on Friday is still to be determined. While this past Sunday's game against the Heat was postponed due to the Heat's inability to have 8 players who could play, these past 2 postponements have been a result of the Celtics roster. The players who have been out with the protocols include Grant Williams, Robert Williams, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Tristan Thompson, Semi Ojeleye, and Javonte Green. However, reportedly, there is at least 1 more player who has yet to be named on the injury report. Lastly, in NHL news, the Bruins are getting ready to take on the New Jersey Devils in their season opener this Thursday at 7 p.m. Since there were no preseason games, this will be a revealing game for the team, who will be playing without David Pastrnak until February. The Bruins will then have 1 day off before they take on the Devils again on Saturday at 1 p.m. That's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week for another segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. Now back to After the Whistle.
All right, and we are back. Thank you, Mia, for that. All right, let's get into a little bit of the divisional rounds. We'll preview it a little bit. All right, so the Saturday matchup is the Rams are going to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. That defense against that offense, this is going to be an interesting matchup between two different styles. And we've got probably the best receiver in the game in Devontae Adams. He's going to be going up against Jalen Ramsey, the best DB in the game so far this season. I think there was a stat. I think they're completing 10% of passes to guys that Jalen Ramsey's covering. He's been knocking down number one receivers all season long, and it's gonna be a good matchup because both of these guys are the same size, speed too, and Aaron Rodgers is gonna find a way. He's gonna force feed Adams. Because that's his number one receiver. And he's gonna force feed him. So this is gonna be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, man. Then they got Jones too, right?
Yeah,
the running back. So he's Adams and Adam Jones. It messed me up for a second, but I already got Green Bay winning this game just because they had a week off, to prepare, get healthier, and they just been rolling all season, man.
Yeah.
They've been playing at a high level. Only team that's been playing close to them is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I got Rodgers going in on them.
And they're playing in Lambeau too, but we'll make our pick soon. But yeah, I might go the other way because of that defense is wild. And then the third matchup between the Bucs and the Saints. This is in New Orleans. The last time we saw this matchup, I think it was week 9, and the Saints just completely dominated the Bucs. They pretty much dominated the offensive and defensive side of the ball. The Bucs, you know what I tell them? They got too many bad habits. They don't adjust, especially on the defense, because we're gonna blitz and blitz and blitz and play man coverage, and that got the best of them. And I don't see that changing either, because
I don't.
They just gonna keep doing. They're gonna do the same thing, but maybe their offense could shore up some stuff because they have been protecting Brady. That's one thing I'll give them. They have been protecting him. The pass blocking has been a lot better. So they just need to not be predictable because the Saints, their defensive backs are very aggressive.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else to add, because it's not something we don't already know. We've seen them play it twice already, so we're just going to look for the rubber match, you call it?
Yeah,
but is it even a rubber match when you win both games anyways?
No. But
so a chance to sweep them?
This is a pride match for the for the Bucs. I think the last time the Saints played a team 3 times in the season, and 1 year they beat them, and that was 2 or 3 years ago when they played the Panthers. They beat them 3 times, and
it's definitely gonna be a good game.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the intriguing matchups are in the AFC because we got the Browns and the Chiefs, and then we got the Ravens and the Bills. The Browns and Chiefs. One thing about the Browns they could do is run the ball, and one thing you need to do to stop Kansas City is run the ball and keep that offense on the sideline. And if the Browns don't find themselves, or if they're able to get a lead and not fall behind, I think they have a good chance of winning this game.
Yeah, I don't think they're there yet.
I don't either, but
they're 2-3 years away.
I just think that's the recipe for them. Granted, I think the last home playoff game the Chiefs lost was to the playoffs. I mean to the Patriots a couple years ago, and they lost to the Raiders this year. So they've lost 2 home games in the past two years.
I just think the Browns reached their ceiling this year. They got their first playoff win. They're taking the right steps in the right direction. Because 2 years ago we was talking about them making Baker freaking like Moses out there. Yeah, he out there potting the field though. You know what I mean? So it's just they're doing the proper maturation steps. You know what I mean, to be a better team.
This has a feeling of the Vikings last year when Kirk Cousins got his first playoff win ever when they won on the road in New Orleans, and then the week after they went in San Fran and they just got ragtailed.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
And then this might be the case, but they're a little more talented than that Vikings team. So they got some guys with something to prove. Kareem Hunt, former Chiefs, so he might come in there with some motivation. So the Browns might make it a game. And this one, the Ravens and the Bills. This one is another one that is very, very interesting because the Bills, one thing that they haven't been able to do all season is stop the run. The Ravens, one thing they've just been doing the past 4 or 5 weeks is run the ball. And man, there's another one. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, 2 quarterbacks from the same draft class. Ooh, offense, defense, man.
Same thing I'm going to say this week about Ravens I said last week. I still don't know what offense is going to be put out there. They look great for the past couple of weeks, but who knows? This guy might go back and what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think today. He might just relapse and just go back to the same nonsense. That's the only word I can think of right now.
But let's hope not, because they need to stick to the formula that's been working for them in the home stretch of the season, because they've really been playing solid, especially on the ground game, because that's one way to keep the Bills offense, we talk about this, to keep the Bills offense on the sideline. The Bills, they're great in pass coverage, but they cannot stop the run. They literally cannot stop the run. The Colts had success running the ball on them. Their issues was they just couldn't score, and too many missed opportunities. I think Lamar Jackson is like 80% in the red zone his career when he gets down there.
I can see that.
Yeah, so when they get down there, the Ravens, when they get down there, they score. So it's either going to be a high scoring game or it's going to be a low level scoring game.
Yeah, man.
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure. So that is that. That's the divisional round. We're almost there. We're a few weeks away from the Super Bowl. Some interesting matchups happening in the NFL. All right, let's go to +1 interview. We had a blast from the past. I talked. Oh my gosh, Lynn English High alum class of 2001. Shane. I can't pronounce his name. Shane. Yeah.
Shane. With the braids?
Yeah,
Shane.
with the dread. Dreads now. Yeah, had him on, talked about some, he talked about playing at Lynn English. He talked about playing in Europe, the semi-pro leagues he played in, and also coaching. So it was a good talk. So
where's Shane coaching at?
I think in Boston.
Okay, that's what's up, man. I ain't seen Shane in a minute. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Always was cool dude, man.
Yeah. I said +1. Athlete's Corner, and then we're going to come back. So now we go to Lynn Classical, Lynn English. This is, Thanksgiving Day. This is the game of the year. The city's pretty much shut down. Everybody's at Manning Bowl for those 3-4 hours for this game, and it gets so amped up because of the friendships, because of the relationships everybody has. And, it's either your English or your classical. And right now we're not friends. So that whole week, just tell to me when you played the week leading up to the Thanksgiving game.
Man, that week leading up is crazy because you have so much time between your last game. We actually have I think we had almost 2 weeks before the last game and the Thanksgiving game. So those 2 weeks are crazy, and it's wild because, Tony Seaforth and them and Achilles and all them, they were some of my best friends. So we hung around all the time, So if I wasn't with my with my boys from English, I was with Achilles and Tony and all them. So those 2 weeks, there's a no contact order. So it's you're with your team, you're trying to focus, you're watching mad film, you're trying to figure out how to stop. At that point, Classical's offense had they had 6 or 7 people that if they touched the ball, it was a wrap. You know what I mean? If they got loose, it was a wrap. They had their 3 run. They had that wishbone formation. That that 3 running backs, and then the next 3 running backs that came in, they touched the ball, and then they had JoJo at quarterback where JoJo can take off and be gone too. But then every once in a while, they'll split Tony out at receiver, and Tony at the time was 6'2", maybe. So he's bigger than 99% of the players in the league. You know what I mean? So, and he's fast and he's lanky and he's got hands. So it's you split him out now, and then it's what's going on? So a lot of film preparation, a lot of things going on, and then even defensively, they were fast. Their front 5 was freaking they were strong. They were big boys for that time. You know what I mean? So they were strong and speedy. So it was a lot of like game planning and figuring out, try to figure out how to keep me clean, how to and how to get, you know, Brandon the carries to loosen up the defense, you know, tighten up the defense so I can throw.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of that going on, and I mean, going into the game, I mean, it was one of those things that we had everything that we needed, but Classical also made their adjustments. So I come to find out that after a couple of years, like, you know, talking to Tony and all that, he was telling me how like they put in a different defense. Actually, it wasn't a couple of years. It was in the Agganis All-Star game. Talking to Durgan, talking to Coach Durgan and them, he was the coach for me. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, like we changed our defense. We put in like a Tampa 2 style defense for your throwing abilities. You and Jared's, you know, you and Jared's chemistry. And he goes, and we also put in a few blitzes to blitzes and stunts. And you know, and back in that time in high school, there wasn't any you didn't really see much stunting and things like that on the front line. So it confused our offensive line a lot, and they shut us down. Like we only had I think maybe two or three red zone trips, and they weren't successful. Like they buckled down and stopped us. So I mean, it wasn't the Thanksgiving that I wanted, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you go out there, you put everything on the line on Thanksgiving, you put your heart and soul on the field, and then after that, that's when the friendships kick back in. I mean, I sent you a picture that showed us right after that game, after them wiping us down, and it's your best friends again. You know what I mean? So.
All right, and we are back. That interview with Shane was about 30 minutes long, so the rest of that interview, just go to the LCTV YouTube channel. You can catch it there. So it was a good conversation he and I had, just talking football, life, all that good stuff. So make sure just go watch the full interview on the LCTV YouTube channel. All right, and we are back. Let's go around the world of sports and see what's happening. All right, Tatum, Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Doncic, Western Conference Player of the Week last week. Both guys averaged around 30. Tatum 33, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Doncic 30 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. Guys finding their groove, and then boom. Tatum had to go on. He had to go quarantine. I don't think he because COVID. He had to.
He did?
Yeah, I've been out
the loop for.
Yeah, he's been in quarantine. The Celtics' past 2 games have been canceled. Because,
I seen that.
Because half their team had to go on quarantine just because close contact and all that. It's happening around.
Oh, you mean same thing with Maddie's mom? Because they all in Boston here. Clams.
So they all had. So they did that. So I mean, there's a lot of games being canceled. All right. The Kyrie Irving saga, he goes AWOL on the Nets. They don't know where they said he's gone for personal reasons. They really have no clue. Then apparently a Zoom came up. I think he was like at a party, a birthday celebration or something like that. I don't know. The Kyrie Story drama is already happening. We're only like 9-10 games into the season, and yeah, the Nets. I guess the Nets know what they got themselves into.
But what's AWOL though? Because the definition of AWOL to me is like he loses it and just snaps at people. I don't.
He just gone. He just left. He just went away from the team. They didn't know why. They didn't know. No reason.
There's already been said about him just doing his own thing sometimes and going on hiatuses and stuff. But that was like when they was on like a team trip. He just did his own thing for a little bit, which is understandable. But like during the season, you disappeared. But I feel like. I don't know, because, like, you know how they're talking about how the media tries to put, like, certain spins on things, which they do at times? Yeah. I feel like he might have told somebody something. Like, somebody might not have been the higher ups, but he might have told somebody, I'm about to go to this potty, the family crib or something. He might have said something, and it might not have got back to the people. But at the end of the day, be responsible. Just let people know if you're going to... If you're going to leave personal reasons, just tell the people.
They're not sure when he's going to come back. I mean, this is... Not even 10 games into we're like 10 games into the season. This is already happening. So
I'm just weird about it because I didn't really hear it on. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't, and maybe, news outlets are kind of tricky sometimes.
Maybe he's going through something. I don't know. But the way No, it's just the Kyrie era.
And his dad's birthday just passed too, so he might just want to hang with his family.
I mean, you're a professional. Just tell somebody.
It's communicating.
Tell management.
Yo, you know what's crazy though? It's hard for people to communicate nowadays, and they have way more access to communication.
Seriously.
It's easy to communicate, but people make it harder to communicate.
For real. All right. There's been some games postponed today due to COVID. Utah versus Washington, Orlando versus Boston, Atlanta versus Phoenix. Those games has been postponed due to COVID reasons. Markelle Fultz and Thomas Bryant tore their ACL last week, so they're done for the season. And they both were having a good start to the season. Fultz, he looked like a reclamation. Like, he finally looks like the guy that was coming out of high school that was a dog.
Because they let him play basketball?
Yeah, so sucks for him too, because he got that contract too, and I think he's found his groove in the league. Hopefully he comes back stronger. And then the Houston turmoil in Houston. The James Harden already talking about this team's not good enough. They said they sent him. They didn't allow him in practice. They just told him he could stay home because he wants to get traded, and he's already just conduct detrimental stuff to the team is what he's doing. John Wall at a press conference said it's only been 9 games and you're already giving up on the season. Like, it's only been 9 games. So it was all this. This all happened today.
Okay. I'm like, I watch TV all the time. Like, where have I been at?
This is all happening. Yeah, this is all happening today.
I mean, for one, like, I don't know, man. Like, Harden, I don't like calling people names and divas, but like, he's starting to sound like a prima donna. Like, it's getting bad, bro. Like, just embrace the team you're with right now. See where they are before the trade deadline, or even a little before that. And if they're not where you want them to be or where you want to be, then move. But like, John Wall's been balling. You need to get in better shape, just a little bit. Yes. But now, like, people was calling him fat. He's not fat. He's just one of them people. Even Baron Davis wasn't in like super tip top shape. He was a bigger guy. So like, some guys need a little bubble on him. Yeah, but he got to tighten up a little bit though.
Yeah, he need to. And there's already discussions there. They said there's discussions going on between the Rockets and the Sixers right now to trading Ben Simmons and a couple other guys for Harden to get him over there. That's the discussion has began already. They started those discussions again. So yeah, it's interesting. All right, and in college football, Nick Saban and Alabama put a pounding on Ohio State, winning their 7th. This is Nick Saban's 7th title, his 6th at Alabama, and yeah, this was a beatdown.
And they lost one of their best
Smith.
Yeah, with the no, not even him. He's the man. But I mean, they lost their one of the best defensive backs for that targeting call.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think it was target at first, but then when you see the replay,
it was helmet. Helmet. The dude lowered his helmet too, so
they could have let it go.
They could have.
Cause dude hopped right up, and he was all right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they could have let it go. National championship. The dude is not known for like being a dirty player. Yeah. He just didn't go low enough. So I was like, but you know what they was trying to do. They're trying to make it a game.
That rule is dumb anyways. The college football, the ejection rule, because of the targeting rule.
First of all, everything is targeting. Yeah. When you're aiming, I get what they're saying, like you're setting them up to hit them, but when you tackle somebody, you're targeting to tackle the player. Yeah. You get him down any way possible.
Yeah,
I don't like...
The rule's dumb.
Yeah.
I hate it. And you know what? Alabama's not slowing down anytime soon either, because they got the #1 recruiting class coming in once again. They're favored to win it once again. I think it's Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame. Those are in Vegas. Those are like the top 5.
Question though, has Alabama ever had like a stellar quarterback? Because their skill guys are great, but their quarterback guys, quarterback just be some guy working at 9 to 5 after he graduates.
Tua?
I mean, other than Tua, I mean, like in like the.
No.
So I meant to say other than Tua. My bad.
No, they just got so many 4 and 5 star recruiters. It don't matter who's at quarterback. Those guys are gonna be open. Just get it to them. Just throw it. They're open.
It's just crazy to me that Alabama's been so good for so long, and their quarterbacks never get any ticket in the league. Like they don't even get real looks.
I think the last real kind of like real decorated quarterback was Greg McElroy, maybe. But once again, he just played there. He was there for 4 years and. Guys were running open once again.
I do remember him, though. He was solid, though. But even in the league, did he even do anything?
No.
That's what I mean. It's crazy, though, because like a lot of quarterbacks go from like smaller schools and end up having better careers. And it's crazy.
And Greg McElroy, he's an analyst now and says some dumb stuff.
There you go.
That's it for another day. All right, and NFL news, Deshaun Watson, he's unhappy with the management over there in Houston. he's unhappy, and he might get traded because he's just unhappy with what's going on and how they're going about things, how they're going about the hiring process of GMs, quarter head coaches, and all that. So they're not even including him, which they said they would include him in these decisions, but they're not. And so he's unhappy. He hasn't said that he wants out, but he should want out. Bill Belichick, Code Red, go get him. Somebody, please.
He's just now realizing that.
He was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's young. He's trying, but yeah.
He's in his 5th year?
Yeah, it's like 5th to 6th year.
Ooh, benefit of doubt. After your 3rd or 4th, you got to go.
Oh, yeah, that's I think you kind of see it started once they traded DeAndre Hopkins. Because, he could ignore it. He got DeAndre Hopkins. So like,
throw it up there, catching it.
So, all right, and then Bill Belichick, he declined to go to the White House to accept the Medal of Freedom that the president was gonna award to him, and he put out a statement pretty much saying he was unhappy. He was not pleased with what happened last week in D.C. and also with the discussions he had with the team about social justice and equality and all that. So say what we want about Belichick, he's a smart man. He knows, like, I got a whole bunch of black guys on my team that been fighting for equal rights, and they've had the discussions with me, and me going there is just gonna be like a terrible look. So
I don't even think Belichick is raised in like even a racist household somewhat. Like, it seems like he comes from parents that have a clear understanding of what injustice is, and he is
military. His father coached at I think it was the Naval Academy.
Okay.
So, and plus he grew up around, he grew up in Annapolis around.
And he moved around a lot too. So he's like he said Army brat or Air Force or.
I don't think he served. I just think his.
No. Oh, I'm talking about his dad.
Yeah, his dad coached.
Oh, dad coached. Okay, my bad.
He coached the Naval Academy. I think he might have served too. I'm not sure.
I mean, just being around that type of energy and that atmosphere just puts a different perspective on how you look at things. And if you grow up around different races, you're gonna look at things a little differently. Like we talked about the other day, we got friends out here white guys who don't see race, which is great. But we wish the whole world was like that.
Yeah, and plus you're coaching. You're coaching in a league that's predominant league, So good for him, man.
But too, he shouldn't be saving that guy. That guy's trying to save face and trying to get all these important people around him to make it seem like he's
it's gonna be a photo op. We're going for a photo op.
Come on, man, cut it out.
We can say all we want about Belichick, but he ain't no fool. Granted, he's known him for, he's known the president for a long time, but still, he's
at the end of the day, like, it is, it's like, either I'm gonna rock with you, I'm gonna rock with this whole world.
Yeah. He's like, I just can't rock with you right now.
I'm going with the free world over here.
You're a little toxic for me.
a little
too toxic. All right. And lastly, there's been some interesting stuff. So Sunday, Hofstra and Northeastern during the national anthem, the whole entire Hofstra men's basketball team, they took a knee during the national anthem. A few players from Northeastern took a knee last night. All but one player from Boston College took a knee during the national anthem. A couple players told me the coach wanted to take a knee, but physically he couldn't. I
didn't even mean to laugh.
But they say he just physically couldn't because all the surgeries and just.
Could he put his knee on the chair on the bench?
I don't know. He had his hands on his players. He told me it was a discussion they had with the team, and he said that he liked that the young people are trying to inspire change, that they should be empowered to do certain stuff like that. I thought it was cool, but I think we're at the point where it's easy to kneel nowadays because there's really no repercussions for it. Because we saw the person that really got the repercussions of kneeling. Two of them, they're not in the league.
What I was going to say? I was going to say, based on what we just seen go on TV, you should have lay on the ground during the national anthem. Forget kneeling. Please. I don't want to hear nothing. Take a nap during the national anthem. I ain't hearing none of that. What we just seen transpire in the world. I ain't hearing none of that. Nope.
Top 10 division. Top 10 from the wild card. Top 10 from the wild card. We're going to come back, make our game picks and wrap this show up.
I want to hear that.
And we are back. All right, we are back. All right, time for some picks. Divisional round picks. All right, we're going to start off Saturday. We got the Rams and Packers kicking it off. That's the first game at 4:35. This is in Lambeau Field. I think Aaron Rodgers probably lost 2 games at home in the playoffs in Lambeau.
I got the Lambeau pack.
You got the Lambeau pack. You know, told you I'm going to go with that defense.
Ain't nothing wrong
Going
with
that Rams defense. Granted, they got a quarterback that's a little hampered, but that defense, man, that defense has been consistent. Oh, yeah, that's one thing I'll say about them. They've been consistent. All right, Ravens and Bills. This should be an intriguing one, too.
You know what, man? As much as I love Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I've always been a fan of the Ravens. I've been high on the Bills all season. I can't just leave them hanging now. Let's go, Buffalo.
Hey, I'll say it again. The Bills can't stop the run, and all the Ravens want to do is run that football. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. Browns and Chiefs. Can the Browns pull off the biggest upset ever? You know, the betting line's 10 points. The over-under is 57. We probably next year we'll start with we'll start giving y'all advice on some gambling. I know some people that are really into this. So
I definitely know some.
Yeah, so we might start having them on next year, next football season. But yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs as well because, yeah. All right, and the last game of the divisional round is the Buccaneers versus the Saints.
Man.
Yeah, this is another one.
I want to lean, an unreliable, the guy that left us. But nope. Go with New Orleans.
Yeah. So I just see too many. Both these teams got too many bad habits. So I was gonna say the Saints, but I'm just gonna go with the Bucks.
He can't let go of Brady. I ain't mad at him.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks. It's probably the wrong pick. I'm telling you, but this is one of those. My head is telling me to go with the Saints, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with the Bucks.
Ain't
whatever.
Wrong with that.
Plus, I can't. It's the Saints. Forget them.
Yeah.
All right, and that is it. All right, so next week we might have a guest. Stevie Patrick's been trying to come on here and chop it up with us about sports and all that for a good year now. He's been trying. He wants to come stomp with the big dogs. So we'll probably have him on as a guest. We might do this a little more this year. Just have some guests come here and there. But next week you guys might see a third one. Usually it's Craig, but we might have Craig for Super Bowl week. So, yeah, next week we'll have Stevie Patrick because he told me he wants to stop with me and Todd because he wants to get in on this action. So,
all right.
So we'll see if he's ready for prime time. All right, go to the Instagram page. We got basketball highlights, college basketball highlights. We got college basketball interviews. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Go to the Instagram page, Mr. Burton. Go to mine's, Mukala K, LCTV West Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe. LCTV YouTube channel, subscribe to that. Website, linktv.org. Make sure you go to that. Monday, there will be a Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast virtual event that I believe we will be airing. So stay tuned and make sure to tune into that whenever that goes up on Monday. And then... got anything to plug before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. Just wash your hands, social distance, be respectful to everyone, man. Just be a good person. That's really
Definitely
all
be a good person. I got my mind.
Oh, my bad. My Aunt Heather, her birthday passed on the 11th.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna check her out this weekend.
Oh,
buy her
yeah.
something to eat.
Tomorrow's my aunt and my uncle's birthday, so happy birthday to them. I mean, they're siblings and share the same birthday, even though they got like years apart. It's
Word.
Yeah, so happy birthday to my aunt and uncle and all you January birthday people out there. All right, we out of here. Have a good one. Wear your masks, people.